Hi friends! Thank you for joining me for this practice today. I'm Paisley if you don't know me. We're going to begin with a block and we're going to lie down. If you don't have a block, you can use a book. Just make sure it's not too big or heavy. So situate yourself so that you can have your knees bent and have room to take your arms overhead once you're lying down. Take a couple breaths and start to become familiar with the imprint or shape of the pressure your back is making on the mat. In particular, kind of the middle back where the ribs, the lower ribs are, and the waist, the back of the waist. As you exhale, you're gonna draw your front ribs down and in, do just a teeny bit of tucking, which is to say flatten your low back and brace your lower abs. So you're not too far off of neutral with your spine, but you're just a little bit supporting down low. And then you're gonna grab your block and you're gonna hold your block the widest way with your palms and fingers flat on the sides, or you can hold a book too. You might have to hold differently with your fingers. But you're gonna take your arms straight up above your shoulders and you're gonna very slowly, like molasses, super slow, like glacial slow, start to take your arms into the overhead plane, being sensitive and aware of what's happening in that back print that you got familiar with a moment ago. So what we're trying to do is not let it change. So if you feel that your low back, your mid back starts to lift off the mat or become more narrow, that the part touching the floor is more narrow, smaller, then don't move your arms any farther overhead. So I care less about how far overhead you get and more about keeping that integration of your middle. And then we're going to bring the arms straight back up where they came from and just reset. So what we're doing is we're keeping the torso neutral, steady, and we're asking the shoulders to stretch. So oftentimes when we have tight shoulders or arms, we get the arms overhead by lifting the rib cage and letting the back come off the mat. And then the stretch doesn't really happen in the shoulders in the same way. So let's just do this one more time. So you're gonna bring your arms back up and just check that you've got that little bit of bracing, and I just mean kind of your low belly is drawn in, like not so much that you can't talk or breathe like I am, but enough that you're really kind of keeping your back connected to the mat. And as you go very slowly in this overhead plane, be overhead if you were standing, you're just trying not to lift at all or narrow in any part of your back, like your back's trying not to change at all. And this time when you get to that kind of apex, hold it for like 3 counts, the arms in that extended overhead plane. And then bring your block back. Okay, let's put the block down. And then just roll over to your side so that you can sit up. And as you come to sitting, you're going to take your right hand and you're going to go palm forward with your fingers pointing down. You're going to reach out with that and pull with your left hand down on your right finger. So I'm mirroring you right now. It's my left hand, but your right. And then push forward with the palm of your hand. And then you can lean a little forward and put the tips of your fingers on the earth. You can use your other hand to kind of help walk them back a little bit. Just kind of pinning the fingers there. Take the palm of your hand and push it down toward the mat. So see if you can get a stretch into the belly of your forearm. If you only feel it in your elbow, you might try to bend your elbow a little bit. This is often the case if you have what's called a carrying angle, where it looks like when you straighten your arm, it's kind of bending out away from your body. So here we're trying to get a stretch through the hand, through the forearm, not just the elbow. So let's give it one more breath there. You're going to bring that right arm up. You're going to reach it overhead. You can turn your palm forward. And then just like you did on the floor, you're going to keep some integration of your waistline going back as you reach overhead. So try not to let your ribs jut forward as your arm comes up. And I know you can't see my arm, but my hand rather, but the palm is facing you. And then you're going to lean over to the left, push down with your left hand, and put some weight into your right hip. Same action, draw the waistline back so that the back of your waist is full and broad instead of narrow and squeezing forward. When you come up, you're going to take the right hand across to the left leg, just grab onto your knee, take your other hand behind you and twist. Let's go ahead and turn your head. Look back over your left shoulder. Don't go so far that you cause any pain in your neck, but see if you can rotate enough that you get a little sensation of stretching in your neck maybe, or just activation there. Good job. Untwist. Now we're going to get up off a seat, but we're going to come back to this, so maybe just look at what leg you have in front and just do the other one. When we come back, we'll switch. So you're going to now lean your right hand over to the side. You're going to uncross your legs and you're going to pick up your hips, one knee down and the other foot forward. So what we're creating here is kind of a supported side plank, and I want you to move your hand really far forward like mine is, so not under your shoulder, but kind of more forward under the top of your head. And what we're going to do in this kind of modified supported side plank is we're going to exaggerate lengthening in the right side ribs. So, and I really mean this, this is weird instruction, I know. Take your shoulder and kind of shrug it up by your right ear. And the idea is not so much to just squeeze in your neck, try not so much working the trapezius, more to create length in the side of your waist. So keep the length in the side of your waist and then take the crease of your right elbow and spin it forward. So you're rolling it into external rotation, and you'll notice side body long, external rotation, that the shoulder rolls down a little bit, but we're not trying to lose the length. And once you have all that, you're just going to relax a little bit, and you're going to begin to twist away from the ground. So twisting up toward the ceiling. So just stay here, really firm palm print on the mat. Side body really long, the right side of your waist long. At first it will feel like you're shrugging your shoulder up by your ear, and then you're going to turn your bicep, your upper arm bone back. So the inner arm moves forward away from your hip, and the outer arm moves down your back. The outer arm rolls in the direction of down your back. And then turn your chest away from the ground, maybe even turn your head. So now you'll probably feel stretch in your hand and maybe in your bicep as well. All right, come out of that. And then as promised, we'll sit back down. This is where you're going to cross with the other leg in front. Just kind of get yourself situated there. And now left hand forward. Like I said, I'm mirroring you. This is my right hand, but you're going to go palm forward. Use your other hand to hold kind of across your finger and palms and pull down. Tuck your fingers in near the front of your shin or below your shin. Just tuck them in enough that you can kind of make purchase with your fingertips so your hand doesn't slide out. And then over time, you're going to try to get the palm of your hand closer to the floor. It's probably not going to go unless you lift your hips up, which is not our aim. So as you lean a little forward, that will help. And then just check that you're not feeling it only in your elbow, because you want to feel it in the belly of your forearm and maybe into your fingers and palm as well. Just be patient. Give it a few breaths. Especially if this is your dominant arm. This is my dominant arm, and it's significantly tighter feeling right now than the other one. You can always pause the video and hold it longer if you needed, or come back and do it a second time. To come out, we're just going to lean back, let the hand come up, And then we're going to take the arm overhead. So we're checking, we're not just throwing the arm up, we're checking that we're keeping integrated in the core of the body, in the rib cage, as the arm goes toward the sky. So I'm having palm forward right now. That's just a little easier on the shoulders. And then drawing the lower ribs and the waistline back. So that memory of what we did at the very beginning. Keep that, lean over to the side. Push with your right hand so that you can anchor your left hip. Draw your ribs back. And do so in a way where you can still breathe, but you're just consciously connecting through your middle and not just letting your ribs flare forward. Nice, straight, strong reach through that left arm. And one more breath. And then you come up and you go into a twist. So left arm across to right knee, right hand behind to help you sit up straight. Stay upright in the spine, rotating. And then even turning your head here. And finding that placement where you can look over your shoulder enough that your neck is kind of involved, but it doesn't hurt. Please untwist. And now you're going to lean over to the left, uncross your legs. So now we're going into that kind of funky side plank prep. So your left knee is down, like all fours. I kind of kick the foot back usually. And then the right leg is forward and turned out. So this is whatever's comfortable in the legs. They don't need to be perfectly like that. It's just to support you so that you're kind of in side plank. Bottom hand is forward under your head, not your shoulder. And then when you breathe in, you're going to lengthen your side body. So you're going to try to kind of shrug your shoulder toward your ear, less with your trapezius neck muscles and more by creating length in your sides. And then once you have that side body length, you're going to externally rotate. So you're going to turn the crease of your elbow forward to point more towards your index finger or your middle finger. And so what that means is that the chest side of your bicep rolls forward away from your knee, and the tricep or back side of your arm rolls down toward your buttocks. And then you keep that and you kind of pin it back there, so don't let your shoulder come forward, and just turn your chest a little bit away from the ground, maybe your head. So push down, spread the palm, anchor it good. My mother would correct me, anchor it well. Side body nice and long, then external rotation, left shoulder back, crease of the elbow rotates forward towards your fingertips. Turn the chest, maybe the head. Check the ribs. I just found mine sticking out. Let's see if you can feel that sense of stretching through your bicep. Maybe like I'm actually feeling it in my thumb. Just really push down hard with your hand, see what you can get. Good work. Untwist. Face the floor this time to all fours. And then walk back with your knees and drop yourself down onto your elbows. Once you have your elbows down, you're going to take your head down. So we're just prepping for puppy pose in kind of a particular way. So support your head. Crawl your hands and elbows out closer to the outer edge of your mat. With your forehead down on the ground, start to crawl your fingertips forward. Now lift your ribs up so you're not just sagging in your belly or dumping out there. It's sort of the same work we've been doing this whole time. And with your belly kind of supporting that and that support for the kidney and low back area, walk your hands forward more until you can lift your elbows off the ground. So you might end up being on your palms, you might end up being on your fingertips, but you're trying to go straight arms, elbows lifting off the mat, solar plexus and front ribs, belly kind of drawing up so that the back body is full, it's not narrow or collapsed. Elbows supporting this lift of the arm bones. Take just a couple more breaths. and then walk yourself to upright and transition to sitting on your mat again. So this time when you sit, you're going to stick your legs out in front of you. And I'm going to do this facing you 2 different directions so you can see it best. Let's begin with the left leg forward and the right knee bent. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the, switch legs for you. You're going to take the back of your hand against the side of your waist like so. And then your elbow is going to come forward to the inside of your knee. So here's where I'm going to turn and show you that. So left leg forward. You can just see how worn out my socks are now. You're going to put your knee wide for now. You can put your palm out, back of the hand to the side of your waist, and then point your elbow forward and use your knee to hold it there. So as you press with your knee, you're actually trying not to turn to the left, you're trying to face a little bit more forward. Now the more your knee and that forward facing connection happen, the more you're gonna feel stretch in the outside of your shoulder. Okay, so we're just gonna hold that. I'm gonna turn back this way because I think you can see a little bit more. And you can also use your opposite hand to help kind of hold your knee there too. That might be useful so you don't have to work quite so hard in your leg. So we're targeting the outer shoulder. So teres, the attachment for the lats is there, the outside edge of the deltoid, etc. So it might feel a teeny bit painful, but we don't want it to be so painful that we can't relax. So we are trying to kind of get into that joint, those small muscles in the joint, but not in an injurious way. Couple, 3 breaths, just let go in that shoulder. Good work. Let's take that knee down. We'll just switch sides. Okay, so bend up your second leg. So the action is back of your hand against the side of your waist. You bring your elbow to point more forward and you use your knee, the inside of your knee, to kind of pin it. So initially you might turn away from your leg, but then once you're there, you're going to start to turn back to face forward. Okay, so again, a different angle, just turn a little bit, it looks sort of like that. And as you push with your knee, you're trying to face a little more forward, and this is where I often like to bring my other hand in to assist. Lord, my right shoulder is tight. So these little muscles are pretty tight for most people. I'm pretty sure it's not just me, so try not to give up, just give it a sec. Really more like a minute. It's going to take a while to let go. So find that sort of edge, like use your awareness to find that edge where it might be a little uncomfortable. There might be a little pain in that joint, like that is an intense stretch wrapping around the outer to the front of the shoulder. But it's not so much pain that you're like hurting anything or pulling anything. You're able to relax just a little bit. So I personally would, if I were not filming this, I would hold this way longer, or I would come back and do this side again. So same thing as before, you can always do that yourself. But for now, let's let that go and release the hands all together. Okay, so we're gonna lie down again, and again, we're gonna go with bent knees. So just roll on back, and this shape that we're gonna create is kind of a setup that I like to use for Shavasana. It's super therapeutic for the neck and shoulders. And so I often find this easier to do not on my mat, something slippery for my head, not sticky, but I'm gonna try it, we'll see. So your elbows are going to push next to you. It's kind of like you're going to do bridge pose, but you're going to keep your butt on the floor. Push back with your elbows, push back with your shoulders. So as you push your upper arms into the mat, you want to feel the ability to lift your sternum, kind of dramatically, like puffing your chest up toward the sky. So now we are allowing the back to narrow and lift. And as you push with your upper arms and you feel that engagement around the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, you're going to lift your chin away from your chest so the front of your throat is more open. And you're going to start to push the back of your neck, the back of your head into the floor. So back of the arms, back of the head. Push down with your butt, push down with the back of your head, push down with the back of your arms. Try to get your entire spine to arc up away from the ground. Now here's the part where your neck is going to bend more, or your whole spine really, and you're going to slide on the back of your head. So you're going to keep pushing with your elbow points, keep pushing with the back of your head, and get so much active lift that your head can slide in closer to your hips and your shoulders can leave the ground. So they're longing to get back to the ground, but they're not on the ground. So what's on the ground now is your butt, the back of your head, and your elbows, the back of your elbows. So those points are dramatically pushing down, and you're feeling this entire back body, the spinal muscles, extensors just really lifting to open the front of the chest, the front of the throat. You should even feel the back of your neck working. As you push your skull down, the back of the neck muscles should feel like they're engaging. So our goal now is going to be to keep the chest really bright and open, and then to just relax the work in the arms until the shoulders hit the ground. You have to keep your head pushing to do that. Once your shoulders touch the ground, you're going to open your arms kind of like Shavasana. And then you're going to relax your neck until your neck is more neutral. And then the only thing left is to pull the hips away from the head to lengthen the low back. And then just pause there and see what it feels like to have the shoulders kind of tucked back, the chest more open. The back of the neck is usually weak and overstretched for most of us because we kind of look down and forward a lot. So what do you feel right now in this energy that you gave to your back body, just holding that arched back bend? And how does that affect the way you feel now? You can always stretch your legs out for a more traditional Shavasana if you like. And we just take 2 or 3 more breaths. Trying to relax the root of your thumb all through your palms and wrists. And traveling up your arms, relaxing your jaw, your temples, and your brow. Give a full expansive inhale and then exhale, audibly sighing out. And just blink your eyes open if they're closed. And begin to move over to your side. And then back into a seat. Thank you so much for practicing today and for taking good care of yourself and your body. I'll see you next time.